I've been an avid gamer from a time when arcade machines were a common thing, and in my long journey, I've dumped enough hours for sane people to question me. With the thousands of hours I've spent, it's understandable that many of the average ones have faded from my memory, but there are many games that have stuck as well. Among the many games, here are 15 games that are so good that you absolutely need to play them before time runs out. So without further ado, let's dive in. Starting off this list with a futuristic Stone Age, we have Horizon Zero Dawn. This game delivers a refreshing take on the post-apocalyptic genre by blending primitive tribal life with towering robotic creatures. You play as Aloy, a skilled hunter and outcast, as she goes on a journey to uncover the truth about her origins and the downfall of human civilization. What makes this game truly special is its world design and combat. The mix of natural beauty and futuristic machines creates an aesthetic unlike anything else. And who doesn't enjoy fighting against huge robo-monsters with a bow and arrow? Each fight requires strategy as you target weak points and use a variety of weapons to bring down your mechanical foes. Aloy herself is a joy to play with. The game also offers deep lore hidden in ancient ruins, audio logs, and holographic remnants of the past. Whether it's the gripping story, awesome combat, or gorgeous landscapes, Horizon Zero Dawn is an unforgettable experience that you shouldn't miss. If you're a fan of roguelite games, then Hades is a game that you can't afford to miss. And if you aren't a fan, then this game may just make you one. The game follows the journey of Zagreus, who is the son of the god of the underworld, Hades. Our hero basically tries to run away from home to leave behind his emotionally distant dad. But this isn't such an easy feat because the path to the mortal realm is teeming with monsters, hell-bent on sending Zagreus back. It seems like a basic story, but boy, each run feels special when you start playing. The gameplay is incredible, it has an awesome soundtrack, gorgeous visuals, and boy does the story play out beautifully. I personally fell in love with the game when I played it and dumped more hours into it than I'd like to say. There's just so much replayability that you just don't find it boring. So trust me, give this game a try and thank me later.
No Zeus, of course.
Speaking of Greek demigods, here's another game that involves a protagonist who doesn't get along with his almighty father. I'm talking about Kratos from God of War 2018. Now, God of War is a long-running series, but this game in particular just ups the ante. It follows the story of Kratos, a demigod who completely annihilated the Greek pantheon before ending up in the Norse realm. The saga follows his and his son's story of crossing paths with the Norse gods on a journey Kratos takes, orchestrated by his late wife. Even if you hadn't heard of Kratos before this, the game isn't too hard to approach for newcomers. The gameplay is absolutely fantastic. As you solve puzzles for items and bash foes in with the various weapons you find along your journey, the entire realm is beautifully made, and it's a game that's pretty hard to put down once you start it. A lot of people I know who played the game ended up playing the previous parts as well to get a better idea of the badass protagonist. So be prepared for a long and fun investment when you decide to pick this game up.
To their suffering.
Batman has always been one of my favorite heroes, so when I played Arkham City, the amount of fun I had was at an all-time high. The game has you wander around Gotham City trying to take down Hugo Strange and bash any enemy dumb enough to stand in your way. The game has a pretty immersive world, and you get to meet with some of Batman's most famous villains. The gameplay itself is so fluid and satisfying that it can be considered one of the best combat systems in action games. And the story writing is absolutely amazing. It wouldn't be a long shot to call it a masterpiece. The entire series of Arkham games are truly amazing, industry-pushing games, not just good superhero games. And Arkham City is the greatest, in my opinion, because of the tight level design, aesthetic, gameplay, puzzles, combat, etc. With so many compliments, I'm guessing you can understand why you really need to play this game.
It's the outside.
So is that everything you hoped for?
Can't be any worse out there.
Who doesn't like zombies? Well, some of you probably don't, but this game will still catch your attention. The Last of Us is a game that is considered as one of the best games ever released. And it's no surprise why. You play as Joel, a guy who's responsible for guiding a young girl called Ellie, who could possess the answer to saving humanity. It's an adventure brimming with peril and countless emotional instances that will pull at your heartstrings. What renders it so memorable is the way everything feels so human. From the feelings to the responses of the characters, it's simply something you can genuinely connect with. The most exciting aspect is that it's not just the storyline that's fantastic, but the combat is excellent as well. You search for resources, create weapons, and confront monsters, whether human or the infected. It's a brilliant work that every gamer should try at least one time. Next up on the list, we have Red Dead Redemption. This game has you control Arthur Morgan of the Van der Linde gang as he goes on a journey filled with moral dilemmas, honor, betrayal, and redemption. And Rockstar has made a masterpiece with this narrative, and I don't say that lightly. No wonder the game has a 97 on Metacritic. The gameplay and environment is just so refined and well thought out. At one moment, you're calmly exploring the world with your horse, and in another, you're in an all-out shootout. It's not just the gameplay either, the story is simply spectacular. You'll feel all sorts of emotions while playing this beautiful game. It's unlikely that any other game has provided as many opportunities for open-world expression, while also having such a compelling, gritty, and moving plot. The entire world seems to be alive with all the little things that are constantly going on everywhere around you. So before everything goes south, you should really pick up this game and head to the Wild West.
It is us or him! Once we were many. Now we are few.
Now we'll venture into a fantasy world with The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. This RPG puts you in the role of Geralt of Rivia, a monster hunter known and despised in-game as a Witcher. Our hero is on a quest to find his adopted daughter, Ciri, and on the way, he interacts with the numerous characters in the game. And the side quests are really well thought out, so they don't seem tedious at all. They aren't without consequences either, as every decision you make has an influence on other characters and the environment around you. The storytelling is definitely top-notch, but the game has equally great gameplay. You have to properly prepare and strategize before going to face new monsters, and information is key, so it really makes you feel like a monster hunter, as opposed to a strong guy that uses brute force to solve their problems. And if you're tired of hunting monsters, then you can get into the in-game card game called Gwent, a mini-game I have dumped an unhealthy amount of hours into. So just imagine how good the actual game must be. Up next is a game that's going to make you want to break your controller, and thank it for the opportunity. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice is a brutal game that's equally rewarding. You play as Wolf, a ninja who has to rescue his young lord and take vengeance on everyone who was dumb enough to wrong him. That too with a prosthetic limb. Unlike other games by From Software, Sekiro focuses on precise and fast combat that puts a lot of focus on staying on the offensive. Most victories in the game are hard-earned, but worth all the effort you put in to master the way the enemy moves and beat them at their own game. Along with that, you get to roam around some truly gorgeous places, grappling around and sneakily taking out enemies. Definitely a lot to experience in Sengoku-era Japan with this title. Who'd have thought such a simple-looking game could hold so much depth and creativity? Minecraft is the ultimate sandbox experience, giving players complete freedom to explore, build, and survive in a vast, procedurally generated world. Whether you're crafting a simple shelter or recreating famous landmarks, your imagination is honestly the only limit. The game offers two main modes. One is survival, where you gather resources, manage hunger, and battle monsters, and the other is creative mode, where you have unlimited materials and can build anything you dream of while flying around all across the map. And the best part is that anyone can play this game. After a bit of guidance to get started, you can start enjoying and exploring the vast random worlds the game can create. Go on a quest to explore biomes, conquer dungeons, perhaps make a farm with loads of different animals you can capture, and maybe even befriend a wolf. It's a soothing game that lets you be creative while having a whole bunch of fun.
To live, fight, and die.
Next on the list, we have Ghost of Tsushima. Here you'll be playing as Jin Sakai, a samurai who has to put aside his code of honor to deal with the ruthlessly cunning Mongols who have invaded his land. Jin has to decide between honor and his people, and that leads to an inner conflict that is incredibly emotional. And all set within a gorgeous world. The world is what truly sets the game apart from others, so much so that every frame looks like a work of art. And the game does everything it can to make sure that it doesn't distract you from its beauty. All the while, you get to hunt Mongols with all kinds of weapons. You can dispatch them while sneaking around or directly confront them in badass standoffs. Whatever you choose though, you're going to look good while doing it. So if you've ever dreamed of being a samurai, Ghost of Tsushima is an adventure you don't want to miss.
Why did I move here? I guess it was the weather. Or I don't know, that thing. That magic.
Grand Theft Auto 5 isn't just a game, it's a massive, living world filled with chaos, crime, and endless possibilities. Set in Los Santos, the game puts you in control of 3 wildly different protagonists. Michael, a retired thief, Franklin, a street-smart hustler, and Trevor, an unpredictable maniac. Their intertwined story of crime, betrayal, and ambition is packed with dark humor and unforgettable moments. But what truly makes GTA 5 shine is its freedom. You can follow the gripping story, pull off thrilling heists, or just do whatever you feel like. Explore the city, fly planes, customize cars, or even mess around in the stock market. The game's world is incredibly detailed, making even random activities like hunting or stunt driving a blast. So if you haven't played the game yet, take my word for it and dive in to one of the best open world experiences out there. Next on this list, we have Marvel's Spider-Man. This action-adventure is set in Manhattan, New York City, where you get to play as Peter Parker. Our 23-year-old got bit by a radioactive spider 8 years ago and became your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. The game is filled with thrilling action and a really sweet storyline where you are juggling being a superhero and a normal civilian. The narrative really does Peter's story justice, and boy, is it fun to play. The web-slinging mechanics alone make the game spectacular as you move around from one place to the other. Honestly, I've never had this much fun just moving around before this game. Combine that with some fun gadgets and fluid combat and you get an absolute gem of a game. His animations are so detailed that I felt like I could actually do anything a Spider-Man could, regardless of the challenge. The game's success led to 2 more games, so you can imagine why the first one is a must-play. Nearing the end of the list, we have a game that's really close to my heart, Elden Ring. From Software has created an entire genre of games dubbed the Souls-like games, with its famous Dark Souls series, and Elden Ring is like the combo of everything you could possibly love about these games. The premise is simple. You're a tarnish that has to gather stuff by defeating huge bosses to become the Elden Lord, and the game kicks your butt all through the journey. There's no hand-holding in this game, and it truly puts you in the shoes of someone who has little idea of what's going on, unless you look around and try to make sense of the brutal world. The areas go from majestic to anxiety-inducing, and every enemy crossed feels like a step on Mount Everest. And the sense of satisfaction that comes with defeating the difficult bosses and watching yourself grow is what adds to the beauty of the game. So if you can get behind the difficulty, grab a copy of this game and go on an amazing adventure.
Brandish the Elden Ring.
Does not define who we will become.
We're going to Greece next with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, a game with a stunning world design. You play as either Alexios or Cassandra as they go through war, politics, and hidden conspiracies, all the while taking out foes in the most satisfying of ways. This title delves into RPG mechanics and has a whole bunch of neat combat features that make the gorgeous world even more fun to be in. You can go the way of the assassin or turn into a long-range sharpshooter. Perhaps you just want to destroy your foes in close combat, or maybe you prepare thrilling battles on the sea with your own ship and crew. Whichever path you want to go, you'll have more fun than you can imagine. Even the choices are meaningful, so you better choose to play this before time runs out. And the last entry we have is Baldur's Gate 3. If you're a fan of role-playing, then this is the ultimate experience. The plot is that your character and a few others get infected with a mind flayer parasite that's going to kill you if you don't get it out. And thus begins a journey you can shape into anything. The gameplay is so immersive with its roleplay that you can be any type of race or person you want. You want to ruin your relationship with your party member? Sure. You want to fight a devil in his own domain? Definitely. Want to push a random NPC off a cliff? It's frowned upon, but whatever floats your boat. The choices are endless. The combat is great, and the narrative is amazing with some incredibly well fleshed out characters and adventures. Honestly, the amount of replayability is stunning, to the point where any playthrough can be vastly different. It's a must-play for any role-playing fan, or honestly, anyone who just wants to escape reality for a fun time. And there you have it, 15 games you absolutely have to play before World War III. Played any of the games on this list? Maybe you want to share one of your personal favorites. Well, don't leave us hanging and let us know your top picks in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss out on more gaming content. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.